Hi everyone, this is Radull live, and it's so good to see you again on another Saturday afternoon. Today we talk basketball, and more specifically Kenya Morans. We all watched them last weekend in Yaoundé, Cameroon, as they that was history, man. That was a historical moment, qualifying for the Afro Basket tournament that will be held in Kigali in August 2021. So joining me, of course, is Coach Liz Mills. Hi Liz, how you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you? Thanks for having me.
It's good to see you in a different pose than this.
Hey.
That's any pose we know.
Iconic.
Women power. Mm-hmm. Team manager Maxine
Yes.
Milimu.
Yes.
Hi Maxine, how you doing?
I'm good, Carol.
I know I ambushed you here today, but it was public demand.
Mm-hmm.
I was told we have a team manager who works wonders behind the scene, and you need to speak to her.
Thank you, Kenyans, for that.
Definitely.
And then, of course, I don't know whether we've managed to frame this guy who can't keep time, otherwise known as Ronald Gombe. Yeah. I don't know whether you're in frame yet. Ronald, you're in Westlands.
Yes,
good to see you.
Nice to meet
you were late.
I'm sorry
but you qualified us to Rwanda, so you're forgiven for all your sins for the next 365 days.
Thank you. Nice jersey, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Although I was having a discussion with the ladies before you came in, and I was a bit disappointed to find out that Kenya Morans doesn't get any revenue from these jerseys because it is just a merchandising hustler who's making all your money.
Pretty much.
Basically.
So thank you for the compliment, but we need to fix that because
we hope so.
All our teams suffer from lack of revenue, and merchandising your brand, you should be able to benefit from it. But I'll start with you, Coach Mills. Simply because you're somebody most Kenyans saw you for the first time last weekend, celebrating, and we're like, yeah, Kenya Morans as a female coach. Where did you come from?
Well, I'm from Sydney, Australia, but I have been coaching in Africa for the past decade. So I might be new to Kenyans, but I'm definitely not new to African basketball. I originally started in Zambia and have since coached in Rwanda, Cameroon, Kenya, and have done some guest coaching in Namibia and South Africa.
Okay, I hope you're here to stay, but that's not my decision to make. We'll get more into your story. I want to bring in Maxine. You've been the team manager for a while. First of all, we have a female head coach, but we have a female team manager as well. What's the journey been like for you? How long have you been with the Kenya Morans?
I started being the team manager for the Kenya Morans in 2018 when a couple of players living in the diaspora decided that they wanted to make basketball in Kenya big again. So most of them, Ronnie, Desmond, Tyler, reached out and said, we want to change the basketball narrative in Kenya. And I was the person who was there talking about and yelling about, let's talk basketball and let's put basketball on the map. And that's just how it came to be. So
but you played basketball yourself?
Yes, I played basketball. I played for KU Warwick. I played for Eagle Wings. Big teams, yeah.
I know Eagle Wings because they were the USIU basketball club. Was it USIU?
They were the champions.
They were the champions for some time.
2013, yeah.
Oh,
and
look at the CV, man.
But then they fizzled out. What happened to Eagle Wings?
Yeah, I think it's because of lack of finances and all that, and also the passing of our late coach Smarts. Most of the players got better places to play for that paid, and that's why they left and branched away. But we're still a close-knit Eagle Wings family, yeah.
Ronnie, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
First of all, this panel is making me feel short.
It's good that we're sitting down.
Usually I don't have a height problem, but today, clearly I have a height problem. Ronnie, I was being told a bit about your story. You were at Maseno High School.
Yes.
How did you go from Maseno to the States? You overflew Nairobi.
I grew up in Nairobi, grew up in those sides of Kangware, and then went to Maseno. So after high school, actually my last year of high school, I went for a basketball camp in Senegal, Basketball Without Borders. And so, throughout my high school career, I knew basketball could give me an opportunity to get a scholarship. And I was working towards that, but when I went for this camp, the vision actually came more clearer than I ever thought. So after coming back, I could say certain that I'm capable of So I worked
I
towards
want
that.
to do this
Yes.
as a career.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how I ended up. So after that, I was lucky to be invited to a basketball camp in the States. And when I went there, through the coaches that I met all over the place, just making phone calls and letting a lot of coaches see me, that's how I ended up getting a scholarship.
Well done. We'll get more into that in a bit because it's a live show. People are busy in the comment section, and
Yeah.
if I ignore them,
Yeah.
they start sending me hands up. First of all, we're in trouble. Princess Nelly says you're 10 minutes late. You'll be fine. Raima Jaka says greetings from Strathmore. Don Mills, is that a relative of yours?
My dad. Yeah.
Oh. Wombats.
Yes.
That's an Australian greeting.
Yes.
Okay, Min Blessing says she's present. She's watching from Abu Dhabi. Hilda Chepto says I'm present. She's actually a female journalist just down the road.
Excellent.
Panyan Senior Kasaine says I'm following live from Kimana. Xavier Gitau Masharia, Madam has tried to dribble a basketball. First aid is the reason we are late. Hey!
Shots fired.
You've been Kenyanized. Arnold Phillips says, for the love of the game. Christopher Shivutsi, I'm watching from Kakamega. Wamahiga Njenga says, good afternoon, Radull. Good afternoon to you too. I'm being enjoyed that my accent has suddenly changed. That's rude. Let me see. Florence Radull, that's my sister. She's following from the other room. Thank you, Flo. Wamahinga says there's a champion in town. I hope he means all of you. So those are just some shout outs. Guys, ask your questions as well. And if you want to congratulate the team, I'll read out those congratulations as well. So let me come to the team manager, because you've been with Kenya Morans for some time. For the last 4 years, because it's been since 2018.
Yeah.
I can't count. 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
Did you think you'd come to this where you've qualified for the AfroBasket? Was that always your aim?
You see, when we started this journey, at first we just wanted to beat Uganda. Then we wanted to win that tournament that we went for, the African qualifications. Then we saw we could qualify. Then we were like, okay, maybe why not we qualify? Then we qualified. Then we went to Mali, and then it was one game at a time. And then the dream just got bigger as we went on. So yes, we dreamt of getting back to the AfroBasket stage, but it was just one step at a time. It wasn't automatic that we knew, AfroBasket, here we come. It was a dream that we were working towards, but gradually.
As Lupita says, your dreams are valid.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly they are valid.
Yeah.
Liz, can I call you Liz or Coach Mills? What do
Liz
you call
is
you? What do
fine.
you call her?
Coach Mills.
Coach Mills. Then I'll call her Coach Mills.
Millie.
Millie.
That's a Kenya
Millie. So, what's the difference, having worked in other African countries? When you came into Kenya, what did you think I need to do differently in Kenya to see this team go to the next level?
I think with a team like the Morans, they haven't had the same kind of exposure at the international level of playing high caliber teams like your Senegal, your Tunisia, and your Angola. So for me, it was about bringing in a more structured style of play, being able to run set offenses, being able to run certain schemes on defense, and being a lot more organized. Unfortunately, the domestic league here is a bit more run and gun, like up and down, up and down. Ronnie doesn't know what Jose's doing. Jose doesn't know what Bush is doing. So just putting everybody more on the same page and playing a more international style of basketball. I also brought in basketball analytics and film analysis, which I hope really helped the team prepare well, knowing what our opponents are doing and how we can. It's like chess. What are they going to do, and how are we going to combat that? And so hopefully I brought that level of international experience to the team.
And Ronnie, when she came in, what was on your mind? Did you know about Coach Mills before she came?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like she said, she's been around African basketball for a while, and I mean she knew about a few of us because in the few tournaments that we played in, I knew about her already. And when she was planning to come, she reached out to some of the players. So kind of like by the time I was meeting her on it was automatic. Like I already knew a little bit and wasn't a surprise.
You've been lucky. I mean, I've noticed a lot of the players play abroad. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
So when she brought in her techniques, were they foreign to you? What was going through your mind that she's coming to check the difference between her and the coach that was there before?
I think the difference. So I played not a lot was foreign because I played outside, and I know more about like film, but her analytics is on a different level, though. So, yeah, but the film, yeah, like film and things like that. So coaches outside really focus on that. It's not just the physical aspect of the game, but the mental aspect, you know. So I think that's, you know, one of the main focuses that really made us successful. And even our previous coach also was, you know, Coach Cliff had, you know, a little bit of experience. So he tried to bring a little bit of structure, but Coach Mills just put it a notch higher with the analytics and the video and everything. So for me, not a lot was foreign. It's more of like, you know, just trying to learn it, you know.
Where did you actually play?
My last season I played in Spain. And then in March after the Corona hit, yeah, the season was cut short, so I haven't gone back.
That messed up for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm getting back into the analytics, and I realize for example, the American football team. Sorry to talk about football, but it's what's always on my mind.
Yep.
The American football team. The reason they've managed to go like from 0 to 100 overnight, I was told, is because of the classroom aspect of it.
Yep.
So do you actually take the boys and sit in a class? Sorry, the men, and sit in a classroom and literally teach?
Oh, look. Unlike for Ronnie, I'd say the domestic-based players, this was a new concept for them, and we did spend. It's about educating them, and a lot of them were really like, "Hey, I want to learn more about it." So we went into a room, we watched film. And then I would put up the analytics and, okay, well, this means this, and this is how it impacts you. And then by the end of the tournament, I would have guys coming up to me and be like, hey, what's my effective field goal percentage, or what was their offensive rebound percentage? And these were things that they wouldn't have even spoken to me about when I first came here. So mad props to all the players for taking it on board. There was a lot of information that they had to learn. And I think moving forward, this is something that we can hopefully filter into club teams here in Kenya as well.
Actually, Maxine, you've been part of the club league. What do we need to do within the leagues to prepare players for the national team, both men and women?
I think coaches need to get on with a new style of basketball that involves a lot of analytics and film, because as a player, we just used to go for practice and come to play. But you really don't know what is my role in the team, what do I need to do, because not everyone can be. If we all throw the ball attempting to score, it's like headless chicken running for.
You might as well put Radull there and just
try
it.
Yeah, you might as well do that. But if you look at other countries, going into even having managed the ladies team and going into the last AfroBasket, you see that the teams have really improved in terms of how they approach the game. When you look at teams like Nigeria and Senegal, those teams take time to learn what the opponent has to offer. So as Kenyans and as Kenyan coaches, we need to incorporate and get on the movement and on board with what the world is doing and what Africa is doing to improve the sports.
So these giant countries of Africa, like the Angolas, the Senegals, they've been doing this for some time.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, they've all had a lot of foreign coaches who have brought this concept in, but they've got players who have played in the NBA, EuroLeague, where this is just standard issue. And taking on from what our TM just said, I think it's actually up to the coaches in Kenya as well to further develop their skills, not only just in analytics or in film, but as coaches. What are they doing to get better? Because I feel like a lot of coaches here feel comfortable, or they've won the league, so they feel comfortable. But okay, so tell me, what is your team running on offense? How are you defending the pick and roll? How are you defending the cross screen? What are you running on offense? And I can guarantee you they wouldn't be able to answer me that. I think coaches sometimes get comfortable, especially if they've got a team. Is it the talent that's winning games, or is it the team that's winning games? And you have to ask yourself that. And hopefully, because we are going to be looking at, I'm going to come in and scout teams heading into our training camp. And if I see players who can't run offense or can't do defensive schemes, unfortunately, I don't care how talented you are. You need to be able to play Morans style basketball, and that's an international style. So shout out to anybody who wants to join the Morans. This is one of the requirements.
By the way, people have been inboxing me. How can I join the Morans?
Yeah, well, this is how you can do it.
Somebody tagged a really tall Juakali. I know you guys know Juakali. He tagged a really tall guy who works at Kisumu Airport. I said, this guy should I said, okay, let me put him in touch with a local team. I think it's Kisumu Lakers first to see if he has any talent. It's not just about being tall. But then that's interesting because it means you have to have a good team.
Exactly.
Not good individual players.
Yes.
And that's where many people get it wrong.
Oh, exactly. I mean, you look at the best team in Africa is Tunisia, but no one could be like, oh, who plays in that team? Because there's no superstars. But they are easily the best team. Yeah, they run their offense, they execute probably the best. I mean, everybody can think of Nigeria and go Ike Diogu, Ben Uzo, these guys. But who are the AfroBasket champions? Tunisia.
But this style, Maxine, let me just ask you, I mean, all this technical stuff we're talking about, I mean, I'm assuming it costs money. And money is one thing that I think Kenyan sport as a whole lacks. So, I mean, what do you have any suggestions of what we can do to empower these clubs? Because eventually, ultimately, it's the clubs that feed the national team, and we need to do that.
For clubs, I think the responsibility is both from our fans and also from the clubs themselves. They need to create a brand. Like right now, everyone is identifying with the Morans because Morans created a brand. 3 years ago, no one knew about the Morans. Okay, we weren't even being called the Morans, we were being referred to as the national team. But now you have to create a brand that even the smallest kid in the hood that your clubs comes from can relate to. So if, let's say Ronnie has a club and he grew up in Kawangware, that club needs to be able to, the club needs to create a brand that identifies with the tiniest child, that when he sees a basketball, even in a supermarket, they can say, that's the club, or that's the place I want to be. So it's just about building a brand that is relatable. And once you have that, I think money will come in.
But it's really challenging, and I see it happening. You want to say something?
I think the biggest thing is marketing and the way we package the sport. And for me, I think it starts from our attitude towards sports, right? So we look at even in high school, some athletes that we will look at, we were jokers or something, you know, like nobody takes you serious.
You're an idler, you're playing.
Yeah. Meanwhile, everybody, like most people, could give you a whole Arsenal lineup, Manchester, and if they met LeBron or somebody else outside, they would go crazy. So it's first appreciating local talent. That's one, and packaging this sport as it's an entertainment at the end of the day, and just like marketing in terms of talking about a lot of things that you can gain from sport. Like personally, on my end, sport just took me from, you know, I don't know, like Kawangware to going to get a master's degree in the US, never paying tuition, things like this. So the attitude could just start changing. Parents, you know, encouraging the kids to start playing the sport, and as the game get popular, the gym get filled, and the ticket sales and players get money. You know, things like this, jersey sales. You know, so things like this, I think that would be the only way. Like, make the game fun, entertainment, and you know, just appreciate local talent.
It's going to take a lot of organization. I know you guys just play. Your job is to play. There should be officials somewhere trying to organize, because it's the same thing with all the sport. That there's nobody who's focusing on the branding and the marketing and all this stuff.
And Pastor, I think it's because a lot of attempts or ideas are short-sighted. Nobody has a long-term goal. Because if you look at Kenya versus Sudan in the qualifiers, the gym was filled to the line.
Yeah.
I played in Nyayo in games where the gym was so packed when the under one guys came. So what does that mean? We have fans. Last time there was a under one guys came from the US. The gym was so packed that they had to put a screen outside.
I remember.
Meanwhile, we have Kasarani, which can hold all these people.
Exactly.
Ticket sales, you know. So meaning there's funds, but the marketing, the way the game is packaged, it needs to be packaged a lot better to entice, to bring in corporate for sponsorship and things like that.
I think the especially the people who manage the sport have to be more intentional, because I remember that Sudan game. I was sent a flyer and told Radull, share for us. It's not structured, and it depends on what side of the bed Radull wakes up on to decide. Yeah, I'm sharing, I'm not sharing. But there needs to be something structured that this is how you're going to market a game. This is how we're going to market the players, so that there's a build up to the game. In fact, one of your officials told me, at Radull, everyone wants to interview the Kenya Morans now, but how do we remain relevant up until Kigali and beyond?
Exactly. What's the 6-month marketing plan?
Yeah. And I think, I told her I have a few ideas, but we can discuss it at a later date. But it just means we have to sustain the conversation.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know if you are you around now, or the other players around?
No.
Or you all go back to your clubs?
Well, most of the players have gone back because the season is going on, but I'm still around for a couple of weeks. So
When do they come back into camp to train now for Rwanda?
Summer. What the countries in Europe call summer, like off season.
So like June, July.
June, July. So most of them, Tyler, the one who is Jazzy,
representing.
I'm wearing number 9.
We'll be here in July. We'll have maybe Joel Awich. We'll have Preston Gay. We'll have maybe Robert Nyakundi.
Actually had Preston here and Kigali. In November. I think you guys were in Kigali at the time, doing the first qualifiers.
So they'll be here, and I think if we look ahead for the next 6 months, I think the Morans have enough content for the next 6 months, but it's just about how we package the content that we have. Is it a training camp maybe for kids or whatever, or how the Morans can actually use their brand to impact the life of the younger generation?
Because ultimately that's what corporate sponsors want to see. They want to be visible and want to see that you are visible. I want us to go to last weekend. Friday, you look at the fixtures, and I'll start with you, and then I want to hear from Ronald as well. Senegal, Angola, Mozambique. What's going through your mind as you're going into that tournament, knowing you probably have to just win one game, depending on other results? But what was going through your mind?
Well,
I'll ask you guys the same.
Okay. Well, for us, we went to get 3 wins. I know that wasn't Mozambique's strategy. They went to lose 2 games and win 1. But for us, we went in against Senegal and Angola looking to win. Our mentality is, if we're just there to participate, why would we bother? And so we were really proud of our performance against Senegal in terms of playing really 25 minutes of top quality basketball against one of the best teams in Africa. A bit disappointed that it got to about 18 points, but then on reflection, when the team played them in Kigali, it was 38 points. So we took 20 points off that, and we're looking forward to seeing them next time. Maybe we'll take another 20 points off that as well. And then I think we were really positive heading into that game against Angola. We knew that if we could build on what we had done against Senegal, we could definitely get a win against Angola. We didn't start the way we wanted to, obviously, but this team has a lot of confidence and self-belief, and whether we were down by 15 or not didn't really concern me. And heading into the third quarter, when we started really locking in on defense, that really helped our offense. Once we got some stops, our offense started to flow. We had guys contributing from everywhere. Obviously, Tyler hit that amazing shot at the end, but it took the whole team to get us to that point. And so we were overjoyed to qualify beating a powerhouse like that. I think if we had just beaten Mozambique, it wouldn't have been as exciting. So, we wanted to keep exciting for the fans at home. That's why we made it a nail biter. And it was all deliberate, obviously. It was deliberate, obviously. And Mozambique, like I said in the press conference, I haven't seen that style of basketball played in Africa in about 10 years. All physicality, no skill. And we're not going to see teams play like that in Afrobasket. So for us, we're not even going to break down film or analyse that game. We're just looking at Angola and Senegal and how we can improve on those performances.
And Ronnie, what was going through your mind? Because against Senegal, I think you were ahead at half time.
Yeah,
two
we
quarters.
were.
Yeah.
So what was going on through my mind? First, what makes this team successful or give us confidence is we appreciate each other. We know what everybody brings, and that's what the team is. Everybody brings the A game. Like you're not going to do something outside your, outside what you do. So first, like just knowing how everybody was everybody was locked in, and we had a couple practices with talent then when they came in, and we were prepared. So I was already confident in that, and like she said, we started like 3 years ago. That's when the team started being assembled. So we've won games, even though smaller or like not at this caliber, like Angola. Those games gave us confidence to build up. And African, when we went to African, we did it. Like we had confidence, but we didn't know we could do that well. So every win was like, we are actually pretty good. We can do this.
Yeah.
So, and for African, the reason why we didn't win it all is because our mindset was that we didn't think we could win. So from that was a lesson that we learned. So from then we said, we can actually be somebody. So when we went in, like she said, we were going for 3 wins, but the Senegal game,
Hey.
we were up, whatever happens. But basically, we went to win. We were confident that we can beat these people, So, yeah, but Angola ended up being the victim.
Yeah.
And Maxine, I mean, this has been a journey because you've been with the team for those 3 years. So what was going through your mind as you entered the weekend, but knowing where you've come from? Because people see you for 3 days. They don't know that the work is done
Yeah.
Long before.
3 years.
I think you fight so many battles, and one player, I think Jose told me, or is it Fidel, that if we had it smooth, then it wouldn't be sweet.
True.
So I beat all my nails. Once that shot went in,
tears.
I cried.
Yes.
Because I know the work that goes into preparing a team, getting all these people back to Kenya and whatever, flights, layovers, COVID tests. Ronnie almost killed me this time because a 40-hour layover. From the US, but because of the current situation, there's almost nothing you can do. We have to take. I always say that the Morans can teach any team in Kenya how to prepare a good team during a pandemic, because I think basically we have all the lessons, all the COVID tests that are required to. Yeah, and so we fought many battles, so a lot was going on through my head. But because I was confident in these guys and their abilities, I knew that something had to give. At this point, something had to give. So
Definitely.
yeah, at that point, I didn't know how, but I knew we were going to qualify.
So much work has been put in. It's time.
Yeah.
Just to add on that, another thought that was going through my mind. So Tyler is definitely our best player. We call him. I give him the nickname F4F, Face of Franchise. So when one of your best or somebody you believe in has confidence, so the whole time, because we've been talking about this for a long time, so saying I feel good about this tournament, and that game, even when we were down 16, we were still.
We got this.
We got this. We're good.
Yeah.
And then that last moment when he took the ball, I was like, I know.
I just knew it.
Yeah, but I mean, you still like your heart is
Even
pounding.
out of body
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. So.
The joy of just watching the Angola's face as it went in, the shock. And then the Mozambicans who were watching the game, because as soon as we win, we qualify, and their heads just went,
Because that meant they're out. Definitely.
Yes.
No, for me, it was their coach.
Their coach. He was like stunned. So
Broke hearts.
it did.
And also the moment that it went in, and then the table was like, the referee is not sure. And then we are all
running
everywhere, and the referee is not sure. Then they have to go back
because
to
it was
film.
like point something of a second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to go back to film. So we're just like, okay, so did it go in? Did it not? And then they said basket good, and then we had to re-celebrate.
We got to celebrate twice.
Then we had to re-celebrate. That was interesting, and then later on we came to find out they were not even looking at whether we won.
It was a 2 or a 3.
We were just confirming whether it was a 2 or a 3.
And there was only 1 point, so
Yep.
either would have.
It
So
didn't
the-
even matter.
yeah.
So
So
Oh, fantastic. Well, I wanted to take a short break. I know there's another player, Joseph Kayamba is here. I'm not sure who's going to be subbed.
me.
Oh,
Me!
why are you running away?
yeah,
Why are you
coach
running
gets
away?
subbed. Hey.
No, I don't think you can be subbed because when we come back, I also want to talk about whether you get how much support you get from the federation and the government as well.
Perfect.
But for you, but nobody can be subbed.
Can we fit a 4th seat on?
Because I wanted to ask you about, we'll delay the break a bit. We'll delay the break a bit.
Okay.
Because the difference in infrastructure, Kenya has an infrastructure problem, generally.
Yep.
Based on where you've worked before, in whether it's in Africa or wherever,
Yep.
and probably you as well, Tyler. I mean, what does what we have affect their game? Because in terms of infrastructure, I know we are, I don't want to say a bad word, but we have major challenges.
Yes. Look, you look at Nyayo, for example, and that's a short court. And that's where we spent most of our training camp. And then
Short court means it's too small.
So it's too small, and so the spacing messes you up. You're trying to learn offenses, and then you go and play on a proper size court, and you have to readjust. And so also having the walls literally this close to the baseline, it affects your mentality on how you shoot, how you do layups, how you defend, how you block shots. And so sometimes coming out and playing in a gym that has all that space impacts how you play. And then there's Kasarani, which is perfect, but then the floor is terrible. And so, and then you start worrying about ankles, knees, injuries, just because they don't have the proper facilities. I know there's a lot of private schools here who have better facilities, and hopefully we can use them for training camp.
Okay, let me ask you, Maxim, how much support do you get from the government, if any? And I'm not counting tweets.
From the government, I'd say for the Morans, for the past 2 years, we have been lucky. They've always supported our travel, going, accommodation, which is standard. But they could do more. They could start supporting us from the point of practice. Because, we have, like you said, we have international players. We thank them for the match they've done, but we have international players who have to be at training and on time so that we have a team that is well gelled. So from the point of practice, we'd appreciate if the government and the sports ministry could come through. But I'd like to give a special mention to our federation and our federation president, who literally lives and dies for the Kenyan Morans. He is the one who says, whoever has the ability to take this team to the next level, no matter the gender, I accept. So the Kenya Basketball Federation has its shortfalls, but in terms of building and bringing up a good national team and glorifying the team to wherever it is, props to them.
Because you do need, if you're preparing for an international tournament, you do need a proper camp. You need proper friendlies with competitive sides, and all this costs money.
And that's the plan. In June and July, we want to invite teams like the Congo, Egypt, or maybe even Cameroon again. We don't know who's in our group, so we're not going to invite any of them, obviously. But at least 4 friendlies, and we need to be in camp as a team, almost in a bubble, which is going to be expensive. Transport for players, and also the fact that they're sacrificing a lot already. So I would like to see money in their pocket. They have to support their families because they're not working while they're with the Morans. And they're representing Kenya. So at the end of the day, we need players to have money in their pocket so that they've already made enough of sacrifices to be here, and they need to be rewarded for that.
It's going to be a challenge. I've seen this with our volleyballers, they qualify for the World Championships and all they want are friendlies and proper camps, and we never get it.
Yeah.
Our women's national volleyball team has to play against the men's clubs to prepare for an international tournament.
Wow.
But also,
Carol, quite
I'd
unfortunate.
like to challenge maybe the funds, because we can't entirely depend on the government to do everything.
Private sponsors.
We need corporate sponsors as well as the funds. If maybe the Morans reach out to you, say maybe give us A or B, please be willing to, because this is our team. It's not the basketball team only, it's the Kenyan team. So Kenyans need to be open and willing to support.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Fans, but then we go after the fans all the time.
Yeah, and just to add on, I totally support everything they've said. As a player, my challenge is to the players as well, you know. So you have to prove we know we've been out for 28 years. So we knew we didn't have an upper hand coming 3 or 4 years ago to say supporters will do this, you know. So we took even more sacrifice than we did this time around, you know. So it was just, let us prove to them that we're a good team and we can go somewhere. So now that we've shown it, it's not a theory, it's not a dream, we've actually done it.
It's practical.
Yeah, it's practical. So when I'm going to somebody or I'm approaching corporate, it's like, here's my result. This is what we've done, you know. So as a player, or like players or teams, don't just sit back and just yell or wanting somebody. Show me what you got first.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Show me what you got.
Let me read a few comments and then we'll take that break. Edward Baku says, awesome, following from Kabul, Afghanistan.
Oof.
Actually, we have Kenyans who are, I don't know which armies they're in, but they're in Afghanistan, they're in...
UN probably.
Yeah. Karani... Okay, I'm not speaking about English today. If the English is passing you, find a friend to translate. Shariako. Edna Kurget Edo says, congrats to the coaches and the Morans. I love the spirit of Liz Mills and she putting the women in front. She's becoming my role model. Oh, that's nice.
Thank you.
Edna, then just repeating the same thing. Gaida Ngatia says we can talk about branding and all those marketing ideas, but do Kenyans have patriotism towards sport? No, foreign sport is their interest, which is a little bit unfortunate. I mean, I always tell people there's room for both. Because people are like, but Radull, you're a very loud Arsenal fan. I said, yeah, I'm also a Gor Mahia fan and I'm a Harambee Stars fan, you know, and I'm fans of local. There's always room for both, but it is true.
True.
You'd rather sit, excuse me, you'd rather sit at home and put on the TV and watch Serena Williams. The other day I had tennis players here and coaches. And then you don't even know that Kenya has, for example, a junior tennis player who's 127 in the world. People don't even know that. But you'll give me Serena's stats like,
Yeah.
you know.
Like she's your sister.
Oh, is it
Like she's your
because
sister.
Serena's stats is all over the media?
Yeah, and it's media packaging.
Which is a
Yeah,
combination. I mean,
yeah.
it's a combination of, and I remember when English Premier League first became popular in Kenya, it's because DSTV came with their Super Sport and it's in your living room, it's easily accessible.
Exactly.
And then it's been made attractive, which is what you were saying. You as a team also have work to do. Make it attractive for me to come and watch you and support you and give you props. These guys are talking about summer. We associate summer with a sunny day, but our June and July is cold.
Yeah.
She said European summer. We understand.
Yes.
These same people, when you talk about the summer transfer window in sports, they know what you're talking about. So
Exactly.
stop being a hypocrite. Let me see other comments. John Winsett from Eldoret says, kindly pass my congratulatory message to the whole team. Thank you for flying our flag so high. Yuaya Kaj just says, proudly Kenyan and congratulations to the Morans. Let me see who else is here who wants to be, I have to read their comment. I have to read at the same time because some of these guys, they wanted to give a marriage proposal here. We're not here for that, thank you very much.
For you.
Collins Kinisu says, way to go Morans. Thank you Kush, Liz and Ronnie. Cyprian Momanyi says, getting to the top is easy, staying at the top is tough. All
Definitely.
the best in their endeavors. All right, well, let's take a quick break. The second bit is going to be much shorter because this has been a bit long. I'm not sure who's going to volunteer to be subbed.
Me.
Huh? Let Ronnie be subbed because we're going to bring in another player in just a bit, Joseph Kayamba. So thanks Ronnie, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I know you're
Thanks for
still
the
around,
invite.
and we'll talk after a very short break. So we'll see you in like 1 minute. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you.
Welcome back. This is Radull Live, and we're talking about basketball. Most specifically, the Kenya Morans. Of course, we've qualified. Note the we have qualified for the Afro Basket Championships that will be held in Kigali in April. We're also joined. There's been a sub. I don't know whether this can happen on the court.
It can.
Can Ronnie actually be subbed for Joseph Kayamba?
I wouldn't sub these two just because they play the different position, but yeah, for today it's allowable.
For today, it's allowed. Joseph, you're a starting point guard. What on earth does that mean?
First of all, thanks for having me today. Basically, my role will be to organize and set up our offense every time we go down the court. So I would probably have the ball most of the time, but my work is to make sure that my teammates are in a better position for them to score for us, and also carry instructions from the coach outside and bring them back to the team. So,
He's like the coach on the court.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the captain, I thought the captain is a coach on the court. Or it's based on his position, that
Based,
position.
yeah, based on that position. We still have another captain who is that for leadership reasons, and the point guard for any team is always the coach on the court because they set up our offense, like Jose just said, and they're also, whereas someone like Ronnie would be responsible for our defense. So our forwards who see the floor a bit more on defense are the ones calling out our defensive plays.
Because they can see everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just tell us a bit about yourself. How did you get into basketball and where are you playing now?
Well, my basketball career, I would give all props to my dad, because my dad was a coach when us guys were growing up. So he put the basketball in our hands. All right, and from then on, it just became a matter of just concentrating on it. And right now, I'm playing for Ulinzi. So the motivation has been to always carry the dream and make sure that people coming after us have know that it's actually possible for them to go ahead and use basketball as a tool to enhance their lives.
So you're a soldier?
No, not quite. I work for the government, so it's a little bit easier for us to...
For you to play for Ulinzi. Ulinzi is one of the biggest sides.
Yes.
Ulinzi is the
current champion.
current champions.
Just wait till I start coaching in the domestic league, okay?
Is that something
we're trying to have her come help us out.
Yeah.
So
I can't get on the base, so
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so There's talk around that at the moment because we actually are supposed to go play in the Basketball Africa League qualifiers. So, and that is a much bigger platform. And so at the end of the day, not to talk down on local players, but we need that extra motivation and extra push. And we have so much to learn based on this past campaign. There is so much that we can actually learn from other people outside in terms of basketball and raise our standards because, as you had earlier said, our local standards just, once we raise the local style of playing basketball here in Kenya, then national team becomes easier. So at the national team level, you don't have to start teaching guys about styles and sets. It just becomes, you know, let's just regroup, let's do this now. Let's improve on a few things here and there, correct what you've not done properly.
Do we have, Maxine, and I'll ask you this, do we have like academies, basketball academies? Because I notice with most of our sports, you bump into the talent in your teenage years, and that's what you're saying. We don't have some basic fundamental skills that we've been taught at an early age.
I would say we have academies that have cropped up in the last 5 years, but the problem is the structure. We have the academies, but we lack the structure. These academies don't have a particular structure whereby you can get kids maybe from Kayole or from wherever and playing a certain level or a certain age group that feeds into something else. We have the academies, we have a few academies we have one in Kayole, in Madari, here in Kibera, we have Bikapu Elite, but now the structure to ensure that these kids move from this level to this level, and also to ensure that these academies are also a feeding program into the national team, under 19, under 23, and the senior national team. We lack that. So that's a point where we need to tap into and look at how do we ensure that we have a structure that ensures that we have continuity of the game moving forward.
I think so Australia is well known for developing players and coaches. So we pioneered the concept of long-term athlete development, which is providing a pathway from grassroots development all the way to elite. And even if you're not elite, there's a pathway for social development as well. And so I think the KBF needs to have a serious look at how they can develop a system that allows players to develop from that very first early stage of grassroots development into the Morans or the Lionesses. But I also think there's so many great young coaches here in Kenya that I've had an opportunity to have a chat with, like Coach Collins and Coach Z, who does the coaches chat. It's about actually providing opportunities for young coaches as well. I feel like, and this is across Africa, the whole, obviously you respect your elders, but this resting on your morals just because, you know, I'm 40 and I've coached for 20 years, but how have you developed as a coach in 20 years? There's a lot of coaches here who did programs in the US or Europe 20 years ago, but what have you done since then? Whereas the younger coaches here are hungry. They reach out, they want to get better. They're not resting on their laurels. And then how do you incorporate those young coaches into these long-term athlete development pathways? That's something that really needs to be addressed by KBF, more so than anything that we're doing, to be honest. Because it was 28 years since we qualified for AfroBasket. Well, we want to have 20 years of successive AfroBasket appearances. And that starts with grassroots development right now.
Because AfroBasket is every, what, 4 years?
Yeah.
Which means a lot of players will have phased out and we need new players, but where are they?
Exactly. Yeah. Like in 4 years' time, what does this national team look like?
Yeah, that means we'll have to tap into the international talent and now start creating a different culture rather than continuing the culture that we have built for the past 3 years. Yeah.
But then it also means that coaching of coaches needs to improve.
That's the most important thing.
Do we have any programs?
At the moment, we try to bring some coaches to kind of like see how we normally practice and probably take one or two things from there. But we need more coaches to actually want to learn. That's a major thing, because the coaches will be the face of the team, right? So there will be the link between the basketball skills being transferred to the players. So most coaches will really learn for them to actually just come and learn. Take the opportunity to learn, because you get international players coming in soon in the summer, right? They have a different mindset and a different approach to the game. You can also learn from that. It doesn't take anything away from you if you come and ask.
Exactly.
It really doesn't, because once we share our pool of talent, then we all become great.
Like realistically, you, Lindsay, should be running the same plays that the Morans run.
Yeah.
And pretty similar plays, or slightly different, so that if I pick someone from you, Lindsay, say, okay, I want you to come to training camp, he should be able to walk into that training camp and
Seamlessly.
bang.
Yeah.
And so that requires communication from the coaches at all levels. And like Jose said, we invited coaches to come. We had, unfortunately due to COVID, there wasn't a lot of interaction, but hopefully when I can come back, I can run some coaching courses, I can do some guest coaching at these clubs. And yeah, like Jose said, it doesn't cost you anything to ask. Hey, we rise by lifting others.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about women power. Women power.
Jose, what do you think?
We've outnumbered you.
Yeah, it's fine. I totally think that, especially in our society now, we need to do more to empower women. And like I always tell Maxine, it's not enough for us to tell her, thank you for everything that you've done. Like we literally have to put her out there and the coach, like go for these interviews, because most of the time people will know the players and probably a little bit of the coach, but the people behind the scenes are not known. So we have to put a face to their name. So for me, I always like insist, if we get these opportunities, let's put them on.
Front and
Speak.
center.
Yes.
That's why I told Maxine she's coming up here. We ambushed her when she walked through the door. I told her public demand,
Yes.
because you've been with the team for so long,
Yeah.
people need to know that it's teamwork. Because you've been here, what, a month or 2 months?
So I was here 2 weeks prior to Cameroon, then a week in Cameroon, and now a week, and then I head home next week.
Which means her contribution to what you do has been massive.
Well, I honestly wouldn't be here without her. She approached me, we started chatting. I had seen Kenya's success at AfroCan, but I was actually in negotiations with another team prior to being here. And this team is a top 5 team. And I said, you know what? I'm Australian. I'm always going to go with the underdog. I don't want things handed to me. I want to work hard, and I, judging by what I had heard about the character of these players, it made sense to join Kenya over the other team that I was negotiating with.
I mean, I've now met 4 players, because we had I had 2 here a couple of months ago, and I'm just looking at the attitude of the players. It's so on point.
High caliber character guys.
Yeah, which means there's a lot of work happening on. Mentally, so it's not just the physical aspect
but
of
you
it.
see, the main thing is with the ladies, they make everything easy for us, right? So the only thing we have to do is concentrate and play.
Play the game.
Just play the game, because we don't have time for side shows, we don't have time for any type of politics. So we just come and play, knowing that everything that we need during or prior to practice and after practice is all set. So all we just come and do is just come play, prayer, 1, 2, 3 more runs, go home. That's it. Come the next day. So they make everything seamless.
They're organized.
Yeah. And honestly,
What do we say?
honestly, it was the easiest coaching job I've ever had in Africa in 10 years.
Really?
Maxine, because normally I have to deal with that drama. And so for the first time being in Africa, I didn't have to deal with any, I mean, obviously I'm still up late at night doing what I need to do, but then added on top of that all the drama that she has to deal with. I know she's sleeping even less than I am. So it made our job so much easier and contributed to our success, definitely.
But it's worth it, Maxine. It's
It
worth
is.
the late nights and.
It is.
There's a question here from Xavier Gitel Mashare. He says, what's the TM's opinion and how we can build on the qualifications to bring the fans to support our local league and also create a Kenyan basketball fan base? I think we've touched on it a little bit already.
I think basically what we have said, and also to like what you said, create a long-term strategy that will enable us to keep on engaging positively with our fans. So.
And use this hype.
Yeah,
Yes.
Use the hype and
use
interest.
the hype, and also the fans take initiative to also try and get to know us, the Morans, because we are out here. We have careers as well as players, because I can speak for myself as much as being a TM, I'm a lawyer, so you can learn one or two from me, you can learn business from Ronnie, you can learn one or two from Jose, because also take us up as mentors and build on them.
Don't be afraid to approach us.
Don't be afraid to ask us questions, because we are willing to answer, because we have walked the path, and we are inviting everyone, we are opening up ourselves to invite everyone to learn from us, because we have already walked the path. So to constantly keep Kenyans engaged with what we do in the court, outside the court, and grow together and bring the sport up to heights that it should be. Because most of previously we were being compared to Uganda, Rwanda. They're saying that Uganda and Rwanda have sort of a lifestyle. We also need to incorporate the basketball lifestyle or the Kenyanness into basketball, as rugby have done, as football have done, because when you see the Morans, even before games, if you follow us, you will always see us chanting or dancing badly, but that's our culture.
Having fun,
having fun.
But
So that's our
builds,
culture. So if that's how we are, we should also embrace the Kenyanness and the spirit of the Morans to also build on.
Do you have like social media strategies and stuff like that for your players as well? Because that is where they can also build individual popularity.
Yeah, initially these guys were not big on social media, so we
have to be.
I struggled to be able to scout you guys because I couldn't find you.
We had to push them. We had to push them. We had to keep them putting their pictures out there. Sometimes I wake up and I'm
Ronnie
like,
doesn't have a problem with that.
But I wake up and I'm like, today I'm posting Ronnie.
Ronnie looks like he puts on lotion and perfume.
Ronnie actually puts in the work, and I'm encouraging all Morans to put in the work to build your personal brand as well as build your brand as well as build the Moran brand. Because at the end of the day, when the team ends, you begin. So we need to...
Because people like superstars, and whether we like it or not, you have to appear larger than life for me to begin to follow you. You see, like now, all of a sudden everybody knows Tyler Ongwae. So people are going to go and look for him, they're going to follow him, they're going to see what he does. And I'm sure even now, people who consider themselves fans can't name the whole team. I can't name the whole team, shame on me. But those are things that have to come from you. That's stuff that have to come from you and what you do on social media.
Yeah, and I think other than that, we also have to make sure that the content that we provide in playing is actually marketable, because there's no reason for you to come and see us just running gun, like no flair, no style in our style of game. So as players, we have to rise to that level where we have to understand that we have the content, and whatever we actually put up has to be marketable and make sure that our guys want to come every now and then, come and watch games. Because I remember growing up and coming to see some of the games at Nyayo. Back then it was full and there was no social media, but it's because people actually put in work and made sure, like, you know, when you hear Corporal Lindsay's playing, that's a huge game, you have to be there at 9, the game is at 4, right? So as players, we have to work on our social media aspect and also on our gaming capabilities and make sure that fans do want to come and watch games. Right now, most of the time is the fans who actually watch games are players who have already played or haven't played the games yet during that day. But we have families, we have friends who, people always ask me, yo, you play basketball? I say, yes, I try. And
when, how? Yeah,
when, how? Do you guys actually have a team? So we try and challenge our family members, our friends, our colleagues at work to, you know, try and come watch games. And maybe you may find it actually interesting for you. So there's that bit that we have to make sure that as much as we take basketball seriously, it is an entertainment for some people who actually don't play basketball. That's the same reason why many people would watch soccer or watch NBA. They don't watch it because they know the game per se, but the players, they have a bigger than life personality, so they always want to come and see this and that. Yeah.
Because it's really critical. It's interesting when you say that you looked for the players on social media.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was scouted, if I can say, by La Liga to go on a trip with KPL All Stars.
Oh, cool.
In Malaga, and All Stars were going to play some Segunda Division teams in Spain, and the La Liga looked for social media personalities in Kenya, and they called the Kenyan Premier League and said, "Do you know this girl called Radull?" And they said, "Yes, we've worked with her on so many things."
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, we want her on your trip so she can be the influencer for the trip."
Okay.
But then in the same breath, they tried to look for the names of the KPL All Stars, and out of almost 30 players that were first forwarded, there were less than 10 on social media, there were less than 5 that were active, there were less than 2 that had any decent content.
Yeah.
So, and this is La Liga telling Kenyan Premier League, get serious
Exactly.
with what you do on social media.
Well, I'm pretty sure I don't have all of you guys on social media, which is crazy. But that's how I stay connected with all of Africa, and I can see, okay, this is what the DRC are doing. This is what so-and-so, he's landing here. This guy's available for this. But maybe it's a good thing that we're not on social media. People can't scout us.
But it is something that corporates also look
exactly.
for.
How many
sponsorship.
followers do you have? How
Because
influential are you? Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure everyone knows that, was it last season that Cristiano Ronaldo made more on social media than he actually made
exactly.
as a Juventus player
Exactly.
on his salary. And it's just things that you can add when you're going to Coca-Cola and saying, sponsor us, you know.
Yeah.
We
Definitely.
also have this presence that our team members can
Exactly.
We can
reach out
use
to the
our social media
fans.
pages as a platform for the corporates to come in and push their brand through us. So.
Exactly.
Then just finally, because I think we're almost out of time, you play locally, most of the players play abroad.
Yeah.
Does basketball actually pay from a club level?
I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really pay. So that's why most of the guys who actually play in basketball have work real jobs in quotes. Actually not just
in
a
quotes,
side hustle,
because
but you have real jobs. And I think with the traction that we actually are doing with the Morans, it's high time that now we start using basketball as a tool for employment. So
all sports actually.
all sports, yeah. Like,
They
it's
are
not-
real jobs.
It is.
Yeah.
It's actually a mentality that's been going on since we were growing up, that once you do sports, then you're just wasting your time. So it's always education, get an education, get a degree, go to work. Like, people don't understand that sports actually pays more, and you're actually doing something that's your passion. You enjoy doing it every day. So
And
I
people
think
love to watch it. It's just monetizing it.
Yeah.
so to
Exactly.
speak.
so that's the major thing now going forward, that we actually need to monetize the basketball now.
So finally, before we go, your plan from here on, because you
Yep. So I fly back to Australia on Tuesday next week. 2 weeks of hotel quarantine. I'm so excited. And so I'm hoping to be back in May so that I can have a look at the domestic league, and you know, everybody deserves an opportunity. Obviously, the guys who have done the hard work get the nod first, but I want to see some other talent here, and you know, that's always good to push these guys who might be a little bit too comfortable. And then come June, July, we'll be in training camp. And then obviously Afrobasket in August, September, and then World Cup qualifiers start as soon as November. And so we've got a jam-packed schedule this year, and our aim is to go to Afrobasket and compete. We're not going to be the gimmick team. We'll leave that to some other teams that are coming. And we're going to compete. We want to get past the first round, and then we'll reevaluate. But even when I'm back home in Australia, I'll be designing playbooks. I'll be sending, I know you're excited, stats, film for us to watch. So it's not like we're, you know, just because I'm not physically here that we're not working. And so it's going to be an exciting next couple of months.
do we have a? I want to ask you, Joseph, because I noticed you're not as tall as the other guy. Do we have a height challenge, especially, no, I mean it in a nice way,
Yeah.
especially against countries like Angola, Congo, Senegal, who naturally, anyone walking in the streets is tall enough to play basketball. Probably not skilled, but tall enough.
Well, maybe a couple of years I would say, yes, we had that challenge, but now we are probably matching up size-wise with most positions.
It's really just Senegal and South Sudan who are exceptionally tall, like the Angolans aren't actually that tall in basketball terms. So I would agree with Jose. We actually match up quite well. It's more, and at the end of the day, it's more how well you can execute.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily how tall you are.
Do you have any parting shot, Maxine?
Yeah, like we always say, we started this journey, Road to Afrobasket. Kenyans better be ready for what we have to offer.
And support.
Support the team moving forward. Support positively, I have to add that. Criticize, but don't...
constructive criticism,
constructive criticism is important, but don't malign the players, making them, putting them down for what they did not do. That's done and dusted. We've already qualified. Moving forward, we promise to work hard and maintain the tempo of the game. Maybe I shout out to my boss at Kenya Land Alliance for allowing me to manage to work and also manage the boys. It's not every employer that would allow that. Yeah, so I shout out to her, Faith Alube. Props, she loves sports.
Shout out, Faith.
Yeah, and keep shining, keep smiling, and hashtag Morans to the world.
Morans to the world. Joseph, I mean, she mentioned that you want positive criticism, but on social media you can't really control it. You always have those haters.
Just face it out and just go ahead, and because at the end of the day we know what you're trying to accomplish, we know what we want to do, we know what you're actually doing. So most of the time we just ignore. Just focus on it. Because most of the time if you try and check social media, especially around basketball circles, you can't play. Truth to God, you won't play the next game.
But it's all our sport. They love you when you win, when you lose. They start looking for all the
You're only successful when you have haters.
Hey, they make you famous. But shout out to Lindsay as well. Lindsay is doing so much for sport in this country. I had Nedia Tieno the other day. I don't know if you know her personally. She's the Kenya's #1 female striker, if I can so to speak.
Awesome.
And she plays for Lindsay and Harambee Starlets.
Oh, cool.
So Lindsay doing wonders in sport.
Yeah, they actually support us really well with sports, and they're actually constructing a sports complex in Langata Barracks.
Oh.
Yeah, so all our sports disciplines are going to move to that side. So we're going to all center our everything there. It's going to be a world class. It's not going to be just pitches all over now.
This is breaking news.
Hey.
So in terms of at least sports, we are trying to do as much as we can with the limited resources that we have. So hopefully that one will push the private sector to also inject some of their resources into it. So we pray that they continue supporting us. Is it okay if I shout out my employer?
Yeah. Go for it.
Even your mom.
I'm about to do that too.
You want to give your mom a shout out?
So my CEO, NSSF, Dr. Omerikwa, and through my direct line, my boss, Jeff Mtinda, thank you for the opportunity to at least give me time off to come and support the nation in a different capability. I don't take it for granted.
Yeah, because it means you're traveling a lot, so you're away from your job a lot.
Yeah. And they do support. They say, you know what, go represent the country in this.
You're making us proud. You're putting us on the world map.
Yeah.
And as you give a shout out to your mom, I need to know about the boots. The boots have a story.
So this was my trademark look when I was coaching in Zambia. It's because I'm only 5'11" without heels. Only 5'11". So 6'2" with heels. Because Ronnie, what are you? 6'8"? He makes me feel short, which I really like. I really hate feeling short, so I have to wear heels when I coach. But it's also like at the end of the day, it's a job, and I don't want to turn up to a game looking like I just rolled out of bed. I'm there to do a job, and I'm a professional at what I do. So business corporate or casual corporate, But shout out to my parents, Vic, Emma, my sister, and Joe, Victor, whoever's watching in Australia. I really appreciate it because I know it's late there. Thank you for all the support. I wouldn't be here without you guys, so much love.
I'll actually share the link, so you can share the link and they can watch it whenever they wake up.
Oh, they're watching it live.
Oh, they're watching it live?
Yeah, so shout out Australia.
Hey, Australia! Can my accent change?
Try doing an Australian accent.
No, you don't. You don't want to hear. My boss is also Australian.
Oh,
He's
really?
called Pete Sinclair. Yeah.
Oh,
he's
cool.
Group program director at Radio Africa.
Oh, nice.
Where I knew he was at Radio Jumbo early in the morning. Now, the Radio Jumbo's boss's boss is Australian. So we share something in common.
Oh.
But thank you guys so much for dropping in. Congratulations again to Kenya Morans.
Thank you for having us.
I'm sure we'll partner in some way or the other in the coming months. Let's get your name in headlines. You know, let's get people knowing who the players are as we build up to Kigali. And all the best with corporate sponsorship and everything.
Thanks for having us.
And thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again next Saturday. And continue to share the link, because most people don't watch live, but they watch over the next 3-4 days.
Okay.
So continue to share the link and make sure you give Kenya Morans the support they deserve. But thanks for watching, and bye-bye.
Loved it. Thank you.
Air bump.